Hey, everybody. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It's Ronco Johnson, your lifestyle focused wealth coach. How are you? Hey, today's episode, we're going to be talking about control. If you don't control it, you don't own it. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. See, let's get straight to the point. The bottom line is this: most people think they have a money problem. Most people think that's what it is. They think if they made more money, everything in their life would change. More income, more freedom, more peace. Well, guess what? That's not the truth. It's never been the truth. Because I've seen people who make six figures and still they feel broke, busted, and disgusted. I've seen people build businesses and still feel trapped. That's right. I've even seen people go viral and still have no real true leverage. So what's really going on in the marketplace? What's really going on out here? It's not the money. The money's not the problem. It's a control problem. And right now, the world is shifting to an all-new era. And this era is where AI is escalating everything. If you're not learning AI, you're behind. Attention is being monetized at scale. And the systems are replacing effort. Plain and simple, the leverage is separating leaders from workers. And most people, they don't control their time. Most people don't control their income. Most people don't control own narrative. And most people don't control their system. And if you don't have control, you don't have wealth. And that's why we're talking about it here on Lifestyle Focused Wealth, because that's why our Lifestyle Focused Wealth community, we live by one principle: own nothing and control everything. This is why we need to be talking about this topic. How do you do it? Well, sit back, relax, and unwind, and join me on the inside. And we're going to talk about it today. And we're going to give you an opportunity to give a little bit of input. And tell a friend. You got a few seconds? Tell them to join you. I'll see you on the inside. Hey, everybody, welcome. It's Ronco Johnson, your lifestyle focused wealth coach. Good to see you. Hey, let's just jump right into it. We're going to start with 5 major pain points that will make you stop and think. And hopefully by the end of today's episode, you figure some things out and you start looking at things a little bit differently. And we're going to start with number 1. You make a lot of money. Let's just say you make money. As you heard me say before, you're already rich. We just haven't learned how to store our riches. You've heard me say it many times before. But you make money, but you don't control it. Income, as it comes in, it disappears. No structure, no strategy, no retention. The reality of this is it's very simple. If money moves faster than your system, you're always going to feel like you're behind. And if you break that down a little bit, how can you get where your system is leading the way? That's pain point number 1 for today. Pain point number 2, you're busy. But you're busy at the same time as you're busy, you're not building. It's not possible. You're in constant activity, whether it be work, duties with the kids, with your spouses, family members, employees, philanthropic events that you're doing. There's no real asset creation. And the reality to that is movement without direction is a disguise for stagnation. Right? That's all it is. If you don't know where you're going, you're just spinning your wheels. I'm not saying you're not moving. You're just not going anywhere fast. And pain point number 3, your time is owned by other people. If your time is owned by other people, clients, job, notifications on your cell phone, demands, no control over your schedule. See, the reality behind that is if you don't control your time, you're really renting your life. These are the conversations we must start becoming real about. These are the conversations that we start talking about that make you stay up at night. These are the real conversations that people really want to have answers to. But sometimes it can be a little bit too intimidating to even ask of yourself. You're consuming more than ever before, but you're consuming more than you're creating. Watching content, you're saving ideas, you're waiting for the right time or for someone to say it the right way. The reality is consumers are stuck. They're stuck. And creators get paid. That's just the way it is right now. That's the market that we're going to. And pain point number 5 we're going to be talking about today. If you're interested in artificial intelligence and you don't have any knowledge of how it works, and you're not using it strategically, trying these new tools, watching tutorials, you have no system integration. Maybe you're at home and you only know how to use ChatGPT. ChatGPT by itself may or may not get the job done. You're going to have to learn how to use these other tools. See, the reality is curiosity doesn't create income. Implementation does. You got to get started. You got to jump on board. And if you don't get started, you will be left behind. These are the conversations that we're going to have today. And I'm going to give you 5 solutions to all 5 of these pain points that we have. I want to take a moment real quick to say hello to everybody. Thank you for joining with Lifestyle Focused Wealth. Man, it's wonderful to be here. It's Lifestyle Focused Friday. Good day, good day, good day. I see you, Sam. I see you, Donna. It's good to see you guys out there. Thank you guys for joining us. Hey, listen, before we get started, your price of admission is very simple. If this is your first time being with us, I want to say thank you for joining us. I want to say thank you for joining us. And I want to remind you to hit the subscribe button below and be sure you tell someone that you're here, right? Because the algorithm needs you to prove that you're a human. So as you're watching, if you're watching us right now, go ahead, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Go ahead and hit all of the buttons. Share it, like it, subscribe. But don't forget to hit that notification bell. That way you can get the updates so you can know when we have new content coming out. And like I say, each episode, at the bottom, at the end of this episode, be sure you go to our descriptions down below and you sign up for our bi-weekly email containing all of our articles, our travel, our recipes, and much, much more. It's free to you. It's our way of saying thank you for joining our Lifestyle Focused Wealth podcast, our community. And we just want to make sure that you're enjoying yourself, but you also have something that takes the stress out of your life, allows you to dream, and makes you feel good, smell good, taste good, all those great things. And all that flavor is in the magazine, and the emails and what have you. So as I say earlier, we wanted you to be joining our Lifestyle Focused Wealth community. where it's only $16 a month. When you talk to us, if you pay for it annually, it's $16 a month up front. When you pay it, it's done. And you're part of our community, right? You're part of our community. This is where millionaires and billionaires share their information. We want to share the information of what millionaires and billionaires have in common so that the community can start doing the same things. So you got the same systems. So you have the same products, services, and tools that you can start implementing right now, right? That's what we want. That's what we want. We want to be as completely transparent as possible. But before we get on into it, we want to back into what are our 5 conversation starters today. We're really talking about if you don't have money, you probably don't have any control in your life. I mean, if you feel that way, if you kind of feel that way, put that in the chat. If you don't have money, you probably don't have control, right? Well, how can we change that? Well, here's 5 opportunities that I think our lifestyle focused wealth moves that we will make that I would recommend to you as your lifestyle focused coach. And here it is. First of all, we want to install some financial control systems. And what do I mean by that? Our financial control systems are very, very basic. We want cash flow tracking. We need to be able to track our cash flow because with money coming in, we need to know where's it coming from? How are we getting it? And then we want to create automated allocation. If I can allocate 30% of my check and do it automatically, how much easier would it be? How much stress would it take off of my mind if I knew that for every $1,000, the first $300 went to my private allocated accounts built for protection and tax strategy? And then once I started getting real sexy with it, we started looking at doing things a little bit more aggressively, not taking more risk necessarily, but maybe putting more of our money to work for us. So you don't rise with income, folks. You rise with structure. Think of a glass with holes in it. I pour the water into the glass, it's got holes in it on the side. Maybe you pour it in, yes, you feel like it's filling up, but eventually it seeps all out the side. So guess what? The income is not rising. If the water was the income, it's not rising. It's always leaking out. But with a structure, a solid glass with no holes in it, as I pour, it's going to rise. If I'm making sense to you, please put this in the comments. Give me a check. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know that this is what you're seeing, right? Let me know. Today we're going to talk about some things that are just really innocent because I want to turn your knowledge into controlled assets. That's number 2. If I can turn your knowledge, the thing that you know how to do. I was having a conversation last night and I was sharing with a young man that we were just talking about his job and the things that he's going through right now. And a brilliant mind, a brilliant salesperson, a brilliant mind. However, I asked him, I said, so what do you do and what do you sell? And he told me what he sold. And I said, so where do you get the knowledge that helps you sell that said thing? He told me about his education. He told me about 4 or 5 jobs he had before. He told me about his expertise, where he shifted his business and went into another field. He came from corporate America. Now he's in the sales field. So he's able to use a different language. But he felt trapped because the people that he was around, they weren't corporate. They didn't have the corporate lingo, which made him feel like he wasn't able to actively communicate. He's talking on a different level. The language that he was using was totally different. Well, wouldn't that be you when I ask him about how do you control your knowledge if you are How do you pay for it? How do you get paid for your knowledge? Because that tool that you have wouldn't have been sold by itself. Matter of fact, your knowledge is what elevates the tool. I know I'm going to slow that down for just a moment for those people trying to catch up. His knowledge is what sold the tool. So when we think about that, you got to say, wait a minute. So if I sold you this fork, the fork is designed for me to eat, but maybe I don't know how to hold the fork. Maybe you need to teach me how to hold the fork. Maybe you can show me 10 different ways that this fork can be effective. It's the framework is what I'm saying. It's the presentation that comes with the framework. It's the digital intelligence, the intelligence of having intellectual property that you come with. Maybe you learned something from a parent when you were younger, how to cut grass or how to change an engine or maybe changing a tire. You learned it. If it's in your head, it's not scalable. But if you systemize it, it becomes scalable. So how can you take what all the years of experience that you provide, elevate it, and turn it into knowledge that is a controlled asset? You may be surprised if you find yourself being the person that people come to because they respect your advice or your knowledge or your expertise because of where you've come from. You might find that you might be missing your calling. You may have the knowledge, but you haven't seen it as a controlled asset. But believe me, the people who surround you, they surround themselves with you because they can see that you're valuable. You're not expensive at all. You're valuable and you're not charging for it. If you only knew how valuable you were or how valuable the information that you were laying on people every single day, how much would you charge for it? And I'll pause with that. Because if your system's not systemized, you have no clue the value of what you bring to the table. And you hear people say it all the time. I know my value. Well, okay, well, how much is your value? If you were to monetize that value, how much would it cost? Ever thought about it? Maybe you're out there in sales. Maybe you're selling real estate, selling cars, selling insurance. Maybe you're selling investments. I don't know. People need those things, but what prior experiences did you bring to it that made it just that much easier for someone to get from where they are to education and to a decision? Or did it have everything to do with just that the car was good looking and beautiful or the house was beautiful? What skill set did you bring to the table? Need you to think about that. See, we're asking these questions, folks, and, really and truly, when your time is owned by other people, it becomes more and more important for you to reclaim your time. And once you start to understand that, it's really, really, really important to you to reclaim your time by design, purposely. Why? Because you recognize later on in life, when you really sit down and you start to have this evaluation, one of the things that I can say that I have learned over the years, and when we're coaching our one-on-one clients, you can see when we eliminate the low value task, low value conversations. And you start building systems that run without you doing it. You just engineered your freedom. Not only did you just engineer your freedom, you can share with others how to do the same thing. You know why you can share with them? Because you own it. And here's the thing about ownership of owning your time and owning your intellectual property. When you own it, you can share it with somebody for free or for a price tag because it's yours. You can't charge for somebody else's stuff. You have to charge for your own. So that's why we talk about our AFI concept, and this is really solutional. If you apply AFI, artificial and financial intelligence, to your conversation, this is how we use AI for content creation. We use it for automation. We use it for client acquisitions when we're having conversations. We use it even to make things a little bit easier to understand because people from time to time misunderstand certain words, certain language patterns, depending on where you come from. And then we use this same AI tool to align with your financial strategy. Why? Because everybody doesn't talk about money. Not everybody communicates money. Not everybody's on the same scale. Some of you may be PhD in money, but then there's other people that may be third grade level in money. And this is why we talk about AI plus money strategies equals controlled growth, because you're continuously growing as you start to learn from these AI tools. Maybe you can have a more sophisticated speech pattern. Maybe you can have more details than what you have the ability to explain with your own vernacular. But in using these tools, you're able to play around with money strategies that help you minimize your taxes, understand the tax code, understand in quick time frames what section of the IRS tax code benefits you the most. How do you set up your corporation? Why do I need a trust? What kind of trust do I need? What do the wealthy do? How can I make, a six-figure income in the next 8 months? If I'm scared to start a business, how can I go out and start a business? What kind of capital would I need? And if I had an advisor, what do I ask that I already know? These things are important. When we're talking about this, and I know that my team out there is probably listening, and I ask them all the time, what is it that you know that you act like you don't know? Well, as a business owner and a principal, I know I can't answer 5,000 phone calls a day, but I've made resources available so that they can go get it. When you teach people where to go get the information, isn't that just like teaching them how to fish? I want to teach you how to fish. That way I don't have to cook every day. Right? Well, what am I saying? RJ, what is RJ saying? I know, I don't believe, but I know you could go to an AI tool and ask the same question that you ask yourself, and you don't have to wait till the end of the week, end of the month, or end of next year to get the answer. I know if you want to make six figures, you can go to your AI tool and we could carve out situations that can make that happen. I know if you're boggled down with paperwork and the internet and you can't go through all your emails because you got junk mail all over the place, I know you can create AI agents that can read that for you. Book your appointment, schedule your airplane. I know that. But I also know that AI tool will help you understand the difference between owning a financial product and having a financial strategy and what that looks like. You can simply put into your lifestyle focused wealth strategies and you can see what strategies we talk about. Here's your prompt. Act as Ronco Johnson and blah. Whatever you want to ask it, ask it. We got this tool out here so that you can learn quicker. You can discern very quickly what's good, what's not, what's on your level and where you need to be. And no one's ever going to be able to talk over your head. And that's what we call controlled growth. In your own time, from your cell phone, you can grow tremendously from Monday to Friday. You become more educated and more empowered. If you prompt yourself. If you prompt yourself. Am I making sense to everybody today? Am I making sense? Thank you guys for joining in. Thank you guys for joining in. I always like to start off the show talking about some of the things that, that used to frustrate me. I'll be quite honest. Many people don't know that I have a background in journalism. I spent many years in radio and television. And one of the things that I can tell you that I bring to the craft, and let me just explain this for a second, if I can digress. I know how to ask and ask questions that are difficult for some people to answer without sharing an opinion. That is something that is a skill that you learn. Being a radio host for many years, being able to talk for 6 hours in a booth about a said topic is also a talent. There is a difference between a disc jockey and an on-air personality. There's a tremendous difference. That is a prior skill set that I bring to the financial world that is totally different than anybody else. I'm not the only one that's been an athlete. I'm not the only one that's got a college degree. But professionally, there are some things that I have done that most people may not be aware that I bring to the table. The ability to do production, the ability to do voiceovers, the ability to understand crowd movement, understand emotions, understand psychological advancements with how people move and why they move, sales tactics from the days of selling financial products and electronics. There's a lot more than meets the eye. It's not because it looked good and smelled good. Sometimes it's going to be those things that you bring to the table that make you a one of one, unique. One of the things that I learned in radio is when I'm talking, and now today is the internet. So you guys, I am aging myself just a little bit, if you understand. if you're in your 50s, go ahead and just put 50 plus in the column, because I'm going to tell you, this ain't new. The one thing I learned speaking to audiences on the air is once I hit the microphone, or once I hit record, or in today's world, we hit stream, I don't control who's listening. I don't control how they hear it. I don't control how you interpret it. I don't control how it makes you feel. But I do control what I said. And what I said, and what I've said, and what it made you feel like are two entirely different things. And you got to listen to it when you watch the news this evening. or when you watch your favorite sports broadcaster or broadcaster, just notice the way they ask the questions. They're never sharing their opinion. It's just a question. But if you ask someone from the street or someone that doesn't have that skill set, that doesn't have that learning, they don't always understand the power to number 5, how to build a one-to-many influence system. The advantage that I have over other advisors might be that I do understand. When I open the microphone, I'm talking to millions of people. Not everybody's going to agree. This is not that platform for us to ask everybody to agree. What it is a platform for us to stop trading hours and start scaling the message that we're putting out there. One voice, multiple systems with infinite leverage. I can spend all day long talking to one person day to day. But I'm telling you, most of the successful people in the world that you meet that have influence in the world, that speak to thousands on thousands of people of all types, wealthy, rich, less than, homeless, overweight, challenges, muscled up, fitness gurus. If you go from one conversation in a day to another one, can't you see that if you do this every single day, 4 days a week, if you talk to a politician in the morning, an athlete in the afternoon, an entertainer for lunch, and then you come home and spoke to your spouse, that's totally 4 different types of energy that you're talking about. All of them are not going to be able to relate to the energy that you're delivering. Every one of them are going to hear the message differently. All of them want to hear their own circumstance differently. All you did was ask a straight line question. One of the beauties in that is it's not personal. You learn in journalism that you have to detach yourself from the question. And when you detach yourself from the question, it allows you to ask what some people call a difficult question. But really, what makes that difficult? If we asked you the question, what makes it difficult? All you have to do is answer a question. Sometimes we don't want to see how we answer a question about ourselves, because that question might turn the light bulb on and say, oh my gosh, I just realized I might be frustrated because I'm losing control emotionally. I just realized that I don't control my time at work. I just realized that I may be undervaluing what I come with before I sold the said thing. Question is, are you one of those? If I'm making a good point, give me a thumbs up. If I'm not, put it in the comments. I want to hear your thoughts. We want to hear your comments, because Hey, everybody, we're still here and we're made it back, but we wanted to make sure we said hello and just get through our topics for today. And in doing so, hopefully, we've been able to share some insight. If you're here and you're listening and what we've said resonates with you, hey, drop us a code in the comments. We would love to hear from you. We love to hear from you because it's very simple. All we want to do is make sure that you're getting the information that millionaires and billionaires have been knowing for a long time. That control means everything. It means a lot to people, and they don't even know sometimes how much it does mean to how you share and spread your life. And maybe, and not until we get consult, that we realize that we don't have a money problem. We've always had a control problem. And we've gotten accustomed to somebody else controlling the narrative. Maybe it's time that we start taking back some of that control. If this has resonated with you, please give us a call. Hey, look, catch us on Facebook, catch us on LinkedIn, catch us on Twitter, catch us on TikTok, catch us on LinkedIn at Ronco Johnson. I'd be happy to deal with you. I'll be happy to answer the questions, book you some time. Don't forget, we can sit down and talk about this. And we can help you structure and get you ideally right so that you can just focus on the things that really do matter. Because you got to sit down and start paying attention to how much of the stuff that we worry about that we don't control. And how much of the stuff we do have control over that we just ignore. When the lights go out, are you ready? Hey, that's where we are today. If you got questions, I'm going to give you a second. Go ahead and put it in our comments before we leave. We got a few more minutes before we wrap up. I just want to see if we have anybody out there that may want to comment on some of the things that they've heard us say. And I know we kind of fell off for a moment, so I'm not sure how much of it you heard, but from what you did hear today, if any of what I said makes sense to you or resonated with you, and you want to drop us a line, please do so. Leave us in the comments, or you can go to roncojohnson.com and send us a message, or info at roncojohnson.com, and we'd be glad to answer the questions for you. All right. So that's our time. In retrospect, I want to make sure that we're all on the same. When we start taking a moment to control money, and we realize it's just a control problem, and we don't spend time trying to figure out things we don't control, but we use our tools, AI and other tools, to elevate our own human life experience. We take the control. We take the control of how much knowledge we're consuming, but we also have control of what we apply. My challenge to you this week is to learn something more, continue to develop personally every day, and don't forget to apply the knowledge that you've gained. And once you do so, like compounded interest, one thing leads to another. And may all your decisions be good ones. Hey, that's my time for today. I'm Ronco Johnson, your lifestyle-focused wealth coach. I'd like to say thank you again in advance for letting us be a part of your day. And hopefully you have an opportunity to enjoy a fabulous, fabulous weekend with family, friends, associates, maybe even some of your co-workers. Take that moment share a moment with friends, and create it. The value is unlimited. Hey, that's my time. I look forward to seeing you at the top. God bless.